Hey, how's it going? My name is Cordell, the founder of AttentionWorks, and this is a free case study regarding the importance of having a content machine in your business. All right, so what I've done is I've taken an hour long video and I've sort of distilled it down into a couple points. And we're going to look at the content strategy of a gentleman named Mr. Alex Hormozi, and he is a very prominent figure in the entrepreneurial space. He's built himself up from 0 to 100 million. So I would definitely say that his content and his strategy, they are something that we should, take very heavily. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Um, I would love for us to see sort of like the value towards the end of this video of having, a content machine within your business, because nowadays that's the meta. That is the current standing. That is the gateway to entry. You have to have an arm for content and an arm for content and an arm for sort of like media in your business alongside your main thing, right? So let me give you an example. So Grant Cardone, he does real estate primarily, right? A major arm of his business is content, is dropping content. If you look at his Instagram, look how many posts he has, look how many reels he's done, look how many YouTube videos he's done, consistently, posting content. If he wasn't doing content, I guarantee, I'm willing to bet anything on the fact that he would not be, he would not have built the same empire that he has if it wasn't for the content. The content is very extremely necessary. I'll give you another example. The Rock. The Rock has been building his brand since 2000, when he was doing wrestling. And then he got into movies and acting. And then now to the point where it's 20 years later, he's been consistently putting out content. And that's sort of in a different fashion. It's still putting out content. When it now comes time to ask for a favor from the people that have been consuming your content, they're like, sure, we've built up we've cultivated such a long relationship with you. Why wouldn't we transact with you? And look at Terramana Tequila. It's a $4 billion company. $4 billion. It's insane. The Rock, I don't know his, expertise in the world of tequila, but I guarantee you he's not in there processing it. It's an association of brand to product. But the only way that works is if you have built an audience through content. And let me give you another example. Say Conor McGregor and Proper 12, his alcohol company, multi-million dollar deal is from content and from building a brand and having an extremely strong brand, because the brand can stand alone. If your brand can stand alone, it can stand with a product. That's why the brand is the most important piece, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. And I would love for you guys to, extract some value from this presentation, from this case study. So let's go ahead and look at these notes. So why is having a content machine so important? This is another example. Nick Patel, he brings in $100 million per year, 100% inbound. Why? Why does that happen? Content, media. It is the highest form of leverage. Why? Because you don't have to put in 9 hours, 9 hours a day from a 9 to 5 to work on content. You write a script, come up with an idea, you base it off of experience, or you base it off of your life. You release the media one time, you upload it, and it's on the internet forever. People can continuously watch it, and it can be seen by millions and millions of people eventually. So that media is it's a one-time input, multiple time output. That's why it has the most amount of leverage, and that's why he's able to bring in 100 million per year solely based off of inbound leads. It's insane. This is another example. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna fix this a bit before it bothers me. So Nomad Capitalist is another, I would say, influencer, someone that's built a brand. And he is basically he does, passports, and his expertise is on passports and residencies and, bank accounts in different countries, etc. And he gets 3,000 inbound leads a month solely from his content. So 3,000 inbound leads, and his ticket price is not cheap, I'll tell you that. So do the math on there, and it's from content. It's media, right? That's his content, or that's his machine. So this is quite important as well. It works for business-to-business businesses, and it works for business to consumer businesses. So let me give you an example of each. Business to business would be like a software. A software itself is ran by an owner, which is the business itself, the software company, and they provide a service to another business. Like, I will give you an example. This business called, or the software called Zapier. It's a business and a software in itself, but it helps thousands and thousands and thousands of other businesses. That's a business one, and you could create content around that to properly sell it. And also, you have business to consumer. Fitness coaches. You're going straight to the consumer with your business offer, right? Let's see, another example. Real estate agents, or real estate investors. You're going straight to the consumer with your offer, your business offer. Myself is another example. I'm going straight to the consumer with my business offer, right? So it works for both. I'll give you one more example of business to consumer just in case. Someone that sells online courses. They're not, in certain niches they are, but majority of the time they're not going to other businesses trying to sell them a course. They're trying to sell them to the individual that can utilize the course to then get the same outcome, right? So an example of this would be people that teach other traders and investors that teach other traders and investors how to trade, right? The end goal is learning how to trade and trading for yourself, but that digital product is going from the business to the consumer. All right, that's the last example. So what needs to happen is you need to scale up the amount of content you're outputting per week. Alex Hormozi went from 7 pieces to 80 pieces a week, and this was his result in 6 months. These are his average views, and he, instead of putting out 7 pieces of content a week, like once on Instagram, maybe once on all the platforms, like 2 or 3 times a week, he did a crazy amount of volume on every single platform, and this was what happened to his his audience. And in 6 months, because this was in 6 months, he gained 300,000 subscribers, 7,000 followers on LinkedIn, 350,000 followers on TikTok, 150,000 people buying his book on Amazon, 350,000 followers on Instagram, 100,000 followers on Twitter, and 400,000 downloads on Apple Podcasts, right? I'm assuming that has Spotify wrapped in it as well. And then what else happened? His inbound, funnel went crazy. 400 companies started reaching out to him per month, and his monthly revenue went from $7 million a month to $13 million a month. So there's obviously a gold mine of, reasonality here as to why you should build your content machine. And these are some of the, things that he has on the team. And this is the amount. This is a very, very key piece here as well. The time it takes to write, to batch out and record a ton of content and get it out and let it sit and let it distribute for the rest of the month is not that time consuming. Most people think it is, but the only reason they think it is because they're unorganized. They don't have a system. They don't have a strategy in place. They'd rather be since I'm more creative minded, I'll record when I feel like recording. When you feel like recording, guess who's recording on a schedule? Everyone else in your niche, in your market, right? So 2 days out of the month, he'll do a batch of ton of content out, or it equates to also to 4 hours a week, right? So this is sort of his strategy. This is his model, I guess. What he does is he'll test the ideas that eventually turn to videos on Twitter. He'll write, Twitter is like his stream of consciousness, right? Whatever he thinks, like, boom, he gets an idea. He writes it, types it out on Twitter. Whether it be short or long. He'll do long thoughts in threads, and he'll do short thoughts in like just 1 to 2 tweets, right? And what he'll do then is record. And then he'll record either long format or short format, and then he'll inject, which means he'll put in call to actions. And I'll get more into this a bit later. And then he'll contextualize, which means to how do I say this? It means to, make each post on the varying platforms cater to that platform. So like if you're on TikTok, you use TikTok font and you use TikTok, stickers. Or if you're on Instagram, you use Instagram font and Instagram sounds. And you don't, something that's extremely important too that I found out is that there's something called metadata, which means, say for instance, you record and post a video on TikTok, right? You record it fully and solely on TikTok, and then you post it on TikTok. Let's say you want to take that same video and post it on Instagram Reels because it's doing nice on TikTok. You want it to perform on Instagram Reels. That same video is not going to perform as well on Instagram because there's something in the code, there's something in the post. Even if you downloaded it from TikTok without the watermark using some third-party site, there's still some like data in there that shows that it was built or that it was shown on TikTok. And all of these different platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, they're competing against each other. They're competing against each other for the attention of you, myself, of everyone in our niche, of everyone in our market, of the people we sell to, our friends, family. They're all competing. So this is how deep the science gets in terms of the content machine, right? So, and then lastly, he distributes on everything, right? So I'm not going to sort of get into the strategy, too far in depth, but we'll touch on a couple more things here. So, people think that they have to choose one or the other, right? Whether it be short form content or long form content. And what he said is this piece here, which I thought was actually crazy. It kind of blew my mind because I never thought about it. He said, I realize I've never consumed a long piece of content from Gary Vee in my life. We all know Gary Vee, and we all, I would say he's a pretty nice guy. I like Gary Vee. I don't know him too well, but if I saw a picture of him or if I saw him in public, I would know who he is. And that's literally off of short form content. I've only seen 30, 40-second videos, maybe sometimes 1 to 2 minutes videos of Gary Vee just talking. And that's because it was getting distributed out to the world. And so this is why both are important. Short form content allows you to get a wide variety of people because it's so easily distributed, whereas long form content allows you to build a deeper connection with your audience. And that's why it's good to do both, right? And in terms of how to, build your content to perform, this is an example, Mr. Beast. He said, Mr. Beast is one of the most viral people on YouTube. He's built up I'm pretty sure he's built up his following the fastest out of anyone on YouTube ever, right? And he said the two most important things to building content that performs and to creating content that performs and to posting content that performs is to focus on the click-through rate, which means why do people click on your video? That is specific to YouTube. All the other ones is why do they stay on your video? Like why is your video so intriguing? On YouTube, the thumbnail, the picture that you post, on your video is what gets people to click on it. On all the other platforms, why do people stay? Because they have no choice but to click on it because they're scrolling and they stop, right? And then watch time, very important. Why do people stay and watch? Those two things are extremely important. So these are some of the formats that work that he uses. So, for a long format, he uses a hook and a question. He tells a story, and then he tells a way to implement that story in an explanation, repeat, right? Shorts format, hook and question, humor. Hammer is like the tweet that itself, the tweet that the tweet that the idea for the video came from, and examples, explanations, right? These are just some frameworks that work for videos. And then this is an interesting one. The step 3. Right, and I'll scroll back up so you can kind of know where we are. We went over step 1, which is the test, is where he tweets out his ideas, stream of consciousness. Number 2, he records them, and I just showed you how the volume that he records that, as well as how to create content that performs. That was from himself and Mr. Beast, right? And then inject. We are now at inject, and what he means by inject is you're injecting call to actions to the content. And this is something that we do here at the agency. This is extremely important and extremely this is extremely performative, right? So what you do is, depending on how you want to design it, or depending on how we design it, and depending on how we decide together based on your strategy for content, is the way we'll come to an agreement, on your content strategy, and then this is when we'll implement these call to actions. And where are we leading them to, right? We're leading them to do some sort of action. We're bringing them into your ecosystem because it's not enough to just watch. We don't just want your attention, right? We want you to transact with us at the end of the day. That's a bit straightforward, but we want you to enter our ecosystem, watch a bit more of our content, understand what it is, what we do, realize that there is a problem that you have, and then realize that we have a solution to that problem. That is the point of business to consumer. That's what we are doing. We are allowing people to realize that there is a problem that they have, right? For the people that are watching this video, the problem that you might have is you can't consistently build your following. You can't consistently grow your audience. And then on top of that, coupled with the fact that you can't get that new audience or bring that new audience to transact with you, to monetize them, right? So these call to actions, they prompt people that are watching to also interact with yourself and with your ecosystem, and they're extremely important. I'll give you an example, one that's not on here. An example of this is, let's say I have a free training video, such as this one. Wow. So what I'll do is I'll distribute some clips, and in the middle or in the end of the clip, I will say this. Go ahead and DM me the word send, quote unquote send, and I will send you a free training video. In your mind or in someone's mind when they're watching this, they're like, oh, free training video. All I have to do is type a 4-letter word and he'll send me a free training video. It's free. I'll take that. That prompts them to interact with your ecosystem. Boom. Now you went from their attention to now they're in your ecosystem, and they have a higher chance of transacting with you. They watch more of your content. They realize, oh, that maybe he does have a solution to my problem. And then what happens, right? Book the call. Sale. Okay. Step 4, contextualize. And I sort of touched on this a bit with the metadata and not being ideal to take content from TikTok that you uploaded or that you recorded and uploaded on and then putting it on Instagram. It's not ideal. On top of that, this is what he means by contextualizing the content. You want it to be native to the platform, right? Because people are on the platform for different reasons. And a good analogy that he gave in this presentation was that everyone enacts different on different social medias, right? Or in different social settings. So if I'm around my grandparents, I'm going to act totally different, right? I'm going to act very, respectful. I'm going to respect my elders. If I'm around my parents or if I'm around my friends, I act, totally different to the way I acted with them. It's not that we're changing our faces, that we have different settings almost, right? We have different reasonings as well. And another example is the way people present themselves on different platforms. If you find someone's Instagram or their Finsta, they're going to be acting and portraying themselves in a very different manner than they will on LinkedIn for their employer, right? So in the same way that you do that, and keep that in mind, is the same way that you should be posting on certain platforms. You want, for Instagram, you want to use Instagram font and Instagram sounds, right? On TikTok, you want to be using TikTok font, TikTok sounds, native to the platform, TikTok native hashtags, right? Stickers, maybe like the green screen effect. YouTube, you want to be using whatever font, works pretty well, because the font doesn't really matter on YouTube. That's not native to the platform, whereas on Instagram and TikTok it is. On YouTube, you want to be, posting sort of the content that's native to YouTube, right? Whether that be shorts form video from a podcast or the way it's formulated is very, very different, right? It's almost like more storytelling, because you have the watch time on YouTube is a bit longer than the watch time on TikTok and Instagram Reels, because the videos are naturally longer. But funny enough, this is an interesting statistic. People actually stay on their phones longer on TikTok than they do on YouTube, and YouTube has on average longer videos. Why is that? The content on there is so different and native to TikTok. It's because the content on there is a lot more, short form-esque and catered, and it is a lot more addicting to watch. And I'm sure if any of you that are watching this have downloaded TikTok, you know exactly what I mean. So contextualize, and you have to each the content that you post on different platforms has to be native, and it has to perform, and it has to be built and catered to perform on each individual platform, right? Because you're reaching, but at the end of the day, with call to actions, with hashtags, and with the bare content that you post, you're still going to be reaching your same audience. You're just reaching out to them on a different platform. And in order to reach out to them on that different platform, you must first understand that platform. Okay? So lastly, distribute. Most people will post on their social medias maybe like anywhere from 7 to 16 times a week, right? Let's say that you don't really post on YouTube. You don't really understand the platform that well. You're not used to it. TikTok and Instagram are a lot easier, Let's say you post on them both once a day. It's 14 times a week. Let's say maybe you do one long form YouTube video on top of that, maybe 2. Let's say that's 16 times a week you upload, right? How many people are you gonna reach, right? How many people are you gonna reach? When everyone in your niche and market understands that they have to compete for the same attention that you do. So when you're naturally competitive, what do? You try to outperform. So if you're just posting, 14 to 16 times a week, that's not enough. You need to 10x the input, which helps you 10x the output. So the more input that you do, the more output that you're going to get. It's literally so simple. It's simple. It's mind-blowing, right? If you want more, you want a bigger audience, post more. But also, you have to understand that you have to do your consistent brand analysis. You have to do consistent call to actions. You have to understand what the people in your market want, what questions they're asking, use the search engines to see what people are searching for, the exact keywords, so you can put those in your videos and mention them and harp down on them, right? That is what goes along with the distribution. It's more of a science. So, and that's why I chose the beaker or the flask as the logo, because attention is a science. Attention works. It is a science. And that's why, it is extremely important for distribution to be, consistent. In order for something to be consistent, it has to be like a machine. Your car engine, if, with the right inputs every now and then, runs like a machine. It runs consistently. So your content machine has to function the same way. So let's say you want to post your long form content video on YouTube on Tuesday. From Wednesday to Monday, we'll be putting out clips for you as well. Let's say you want to do it on Monday. You do your long format video on Monday. We edit that, upload that, and it's from that we take clips, and 1 to 3 times a week, or 1 to 3 times for the rest of the 6 days, we're just putting them out on every platform like this, right? I'm actually going to go ahead and show you what our content machine looks like. So instead of from 14 to 16 times a week, you go to 56 times a week, right? A week. 56 pieces of content a week. 1 to 2 long format videos, 1 to 3 short form videos going out on 3 different platforms. So imagine how much more reach you would have, right? And this is what having a consistent content machine would do. And it's like clockwork. We get that long format video recorded from you. It takes 1 hour, 1 hour a week to record that. And then we take that, edit it, upload it, optimize it so that it's searchable and findable. Take the clips from the video that are interesting, that your viewers, people in your market might find interesting, and distribute them the rest of the week, right? And not only this, when you are onboarded, if any content or assets that you already have, whether they're uploaded or in your Google Drive, we'll take those and we'll clip them down, edit them, make them properly, performance worthy, distribute those. So if you do have any content or assets already that we can edit and distribute, you can start your first week with like 80, 90 pieces of content, right? Whereas some people are starting with 50, 60. So this is the importance of a content machine. You need to be consistently outperforming everyone in your market in order to get some of the attention. That has to be the case. So if you are interested in learning a bit more about this or seeing what else we offer here at the agency, here at Attention Works, just feel free to find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Cordell Sharif. I'll pop it up on the screen here. And my I'm going to leave an email opt-in, just to if you want to email me back and forth, or if you want to learn more about this, you can go ahead and schedule a time to talk to myself personally. I'm gonna leave a link down to my Calendly. You can pick a time that works for you. We could do like anywhere from 15 to 45 minute chat just to see what your content strategy is already like, what content strategies work, what people in your niche are doing, how can you perform better, and then ultimately how can you convert that new audience into new monthly revenue, into loyal fans that only transact with you. So like I said, my name is Cordell, again, founder of Attention Works. I look forward to hearing from you. If you are interested in seeing, understanding how you can make your brand more powerful, just go ahead and, book a call anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes. We can get you sorted out, right? So and also I'm going to be dropping more content like this, so feel free to just absorb as much as you can.